Hello, everybody, and welcome to another review brought to you by me, Tabletop Junkie. And today we are doing a review of Call of Cthulhu. And if you guys do hear any notifications in my background, I do apologize. No, I won't be able to turn them off. I've been trying. Unfortunately, let me see if I can hit snooze or something. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Maybe that'll work. All right, I think I got them turned off now. I do apologize. It's just everything's been blown up due to other reasons. We will not cover on the stream. We're just going to keep going. Anyway, we are going to talk about the Call of Cthulhu book, The Investigator's Handbook. And as I explained yesterday when we went over the Keeper's Guide, that this is pretty much the first few chapters are pretty much the same thing. We start with an introduction, example of play, and what you need to play Call of Cthulhu, which actually has a lot of the same information in it. Except for this book, the second chapter is called the Dunwich Horror, which they actually have the novella for the Dunwich Horror is actually starts on page 18 and goes to close to page 40. They they do have the Dunwich Horror in there, so that is actually probably a nice read to get into the mind of who Howard Philip Lovecraft was. Me, I don't need to read the Dunwich Horror from my gaming books because I actually have his complete guide, his complete works, soft cover, so I'm very protective over it. I'm actually getting ready to see where I left off at. Maybe we should go over some of his actual stories at the very least. And we have some audiences today, so thank you. So Archer Collins said he thinks there was at least a film of the Dunwich Horror. I think there might have been two. I do know there was a film of Color from Outer Space. Color from Outer Space. That has Nicolas Cage in it, and that is based on H.P. Lovecraft's work. So, all right. So, moving on. It has a lot of the same things from creating investigators, the steps you need, what the numbers mean. It actually gives you a nice chart in there what the numbers mean. You have numbers that range from 0 to 100. No one can exceed 100. No human being anyway that's beyond human capabilities. It even gives you examples of investigators' creations from periods such as the 1920s or modern day. It even has a name generator in here, names that were common in the 20s, names that are common in modern day, as well as some additional optional rules. They do have some quick references, such as a quick reference for Investigator's Guide, as well as quick references for chart, half, and fifth values. Because as I stated, there's a mechanic in here that uses when you have to roll under your number 90% of the time. Sometimes you have to roll above the number of your score and whatnot. So yes, and you were right. And actually, they have fitted some of Edgar Allan Poe's stuff in there as well, and some of Vincent Price's have actually fallen under cosmic horror in the same genre as Lovecraft. Um, so Yeah, so we do have that because, like I said, you get your score, and then you have to half your score for for hard successes, and then there's extreme successes. So you have regular success, you have critical success, which is anytime that you roll a one. You have a regular success, which is anytime you roll below your number of your target number of what you're getting. Hard success is if you roll below half, and then extreme success is if you roll below 1/5. And then if you roll, and then like I said, it actually goes like this: critical, extreme, hard, and then regular. So regular success is your primary one, and then if you roll below half, it's hard. Fifth, it's extreme, and then critical. And then you fumble. You can fumble anywhere. A lot of times, you can fumble on 100% only. But when you are wielding weapons, such as guns, there's also another mechanic where if you have a certain weapon, it will tell you your malfunction range, which is considered a fumble, will increase your fumble range. So the malfunction of a weapon will increase your fumble range. So there is a weapon in here that actually goes as low as 96. So 96 to 100 is complete fumble. So you actually have a 4% chance of fumbling very, very badly. So, yes. They don't go below 90 a lot of times. So but I could be wrong. We did explain that there was another mechanic in here where if you're awarded penalty dice um, or bonus dice. So for bonus dice, you will roll two 10-10s dice with a regular d10, and you will take the lowest 10-10 dice if it's bonus. If it's penalty, you will do the same thing, but take the highest 10-10s dice out of 10-10s dice out of with your other regular d10. And I think I did have a video, and I may do another video where we're going to talk a bit more about dice. I think I did do a dice video some time ago. Please check that out, because that actually probably will come in handy with what I'm talking about when I say 10-10s dice. The 10-10s dice is the double 0 all the way up to 90, and then the regular d10 is from 0 to 9. So you do get to choose your occupation, or have the GM make up an occupation at his discretion, or his or hers discretion, excuse me. And the GM is normally called the keeper. You do get a skill list. Now, the way skills work in this kind of system is if you don't have anything going into it, it does have a minimum. And the minimum is the minimum that starts at. Some skills, such as science, starts off at 1%. Other skills can go up as high as, I think the highest I've seen is 30%. So how I normally play is if you put something into it, you go from the minimum up regardless. Because if you don't have anything in there, it is completely the minimum. And a lot of times you don't roll the straight up strength scores or constitution scores unless you can't find a skill that fits. For instance, I had someone make only certain attribute scores if I couldn't find a skill that fits, even on the sheet. So, and then we go from there. So the skills are listed the same way as your attributes. You got your main score, and then you got your half score, and you got your fifth score. So, which is lower than one, which is 1/5, and then you got, which is your extreme score, and then your hard score, which is half. So, they do talk about living standards, and they have some optional rules in here as well as becoming a believer into the Cthulhu mythos, because the Cthulhu mythos is another skill that you have, but you don't gain any of it unless you've been exposed to the mythos, something from the mythos itself, usually a spell book. But then you permanently do lose sanity. So, like, everyone has the ability to have 99 sanity, but if you have, like, say, 5% of your Cthulhu mythos is at 5%, then you subtract 5 from 99, so you can't go any higher than 94 at any given time, which eventually, you could probably go through 5 adventures in the Cthulhu mythos before going insane or dying, but then eventually you will lose out, because eventually you're just going to have permanent things, and your character's going to be too bad to play. I actually had a player who had a character that had 3 to 5 phobias, and it was just a drag to play at this point, because pretty much she was scared of everything. So, all right, gotta say hi to more of my audience. We got Jason Fox here from 540 Studios. Hello, thank you so much for joining me today. And Archicon, I'm more familiar with RuneQuest, but the system itself is the same. Yeah, I haven't played RuneQuest yet, so that'll be something else that I will be covering, probably going in the near future. I don't know how far in the near future, but we'll figure it out. And then here's where it kind of breaks a little bit away from the Keeper's Guide. So about Chapter 6, we start talking about the investigators, organizations, some sample investigators, members of society. Just, it gets you into some things, into the setting. It does go, it does extend actually through about 24 pages roughly. It is nice for some flavored read to when you're making your character, having some items that are personal to you and stuff like that. And telling you what, how, I believe it actually even goes into, let me check here. Let me check something out. I got to flip through the page real quick. I do apologize. I don't have any. I can't show any art because I don't have the PDF version of this. Yeah, and the members of society, it looks like it just gives you some sample characters to go with, which is kind of nice. They actually have quite a bit, actually. All right, let me flip back through my notes. Wish I could show this book off a little bit better. I gotta get a stand so I can start showing off some books. Um, and then it covers life as investigators. Talks about that, and then they even come with a monster size comparison chart in there, so you guys can see how the Cthulhu Mythos monsters compare to the average human. So, and then it just talks about, and then the rest of it is just flavor. It talks about the Roaring Twenties, the technologies in the 20s, the 1920s investigators, some libraries and museums that to note that were pretty famous back in the 20s. So, has some advice for players of how to set the scenes, rules, and advice on the rules. And then the rest of it is just references to the world, such as some of the mythological, some of the fictional parts of the world, such as a map of Arkham, map of what you call Lovecraft country, because a lot of places that, such as Dunwich and a few other places that took place around New Jersey, Massachusetts, and I believe Rhode Island, or what was the other one? I believe it was Rhode Island. They do have some fictional places. And then just equipment, how to travel, speeds and distances and stuff like that. Nothing too bad. And then the differences between a 1920s investigator sheets and modern day. So, yeah. Very, very well done. Very well done. This is definitely, if you're going to play Call of Cthulhu, both the Keeper's Guide and the Investigator's Guide is a must pick up. Seth Skorkowski does some excellent reviews on Cthulhu, both adventures and gameplay. Lots of places in New England, I think. Yeah. Well, I mean, or you can just always invent. I mean, that's the greatest thing about tabletop games. You can always invent a place, and have it be fictional. But yes, there is lots of places. London, actually. London itself is its own separate adventure. And there are tons of places in London. That is actually from its own actual adventure supplement. So, yeah, you are correct about that, Colin. Alright, so we pretty much covered everything possible for that. So, as I said, if you're going to play Call of Cthulhu, the Investigator's Guide and the Keeper's Guide, they're both a must-buy. And honestly, my recommendation, if you do find both those books somewhere, pick up the GM screen. It'll be to your benefit. Always to your benefit. Even if you're not going to be the GM or the keeper, pick it up anyway. I picked my physical 3 books up on a deal where I was able to get the Investigator's Guide, Keeper's Guide, and the Keeper's what do they call them? GM's Guide, Keeper's Guide, that's the same thing. Investigator's Handbook, the Keeper's Guide, and the Keeper Screen, all for a deal. If you can find those for a deal, those will be great. So this is the version you will be running, I take it? Yes, it'll be 7th edition. Alright, sorry about that. Gotta get something to drink real quick. But you recommend keepers / GMs, etc. for players? No, for players I do not. I only recommend it if you can get it for a deal. I got all 3 of my books for a deal. If I was to buy all 3 of them. So, I mean, that's the only reason why I recommend it. Plus, it's kind of, so what I'm going to say is if you're just going to be a player, pick up the Investigator's Guide, unless you can get the collection for a deal. Like I said, Chaosium's got some good, usually got some good bundles going on. I picked mine up for a deal from a gaming store that was never getting it again. It's not because it was out of print, it's just the gaming store was really small, and they prefer picking up on miniatures, so they were actually swapping to, they were actually getting ready to swap to the, complete, like, wargaming, like Warhammer 40k and stuff like that, and then Magic the Gathering, so they were trying to actually dissolve their stock. However, I have heard rumors and stories that you could do it, that you could find other gaming stores, so I don't know. I mean, it depends on your local area. So, what's the 3rd core book? The 3rd core book, I'm not sure what you're talking about for 7th. There's only 2 main core books, which is the Investigator's Handbook and the Keeper's Guide. If you're talking about the third book I'm doing a review on, that'll be the Grand Grimoire, which is going to be on my next review. We won't talk about it, but it is highly recommended, especially if you're a keeper. But that is also recommended if you're a player, and I will explain that, I believe, tomorrow. So we won't get too far ahead. So I hope that answers your question, Witch King. But yes, so if you're going to be a keeper, I do recommend both Keeper and Investigator's Handbook. If you're just going to be a player in Call of Cthulhu, I only recommend the Investigator's Handbook. If you can get others, that'll be great. There was actually there was three in previous versions, Colin. There was actually three creatures books in previous versions. And this version, 7th edition, we have two. However, I don't have them yet because to pick up both the creatures manual for the first creatures manual and the second creatures manual in a bundle is almost $100. So I have not been able to invest yet into that. I've been investing in other things that we won't mention on this stream. Primarily, you know, Troll Lord games. Anyway, we won't mention it on this stream. Anyway, I've been investing in other RPGs. So, I do invest in Chaosium stuff. My main thing that I love from Chaosium, though, is unfortunately just Call of Cthulhu. That is my absolute favorite. So, I may find another favorite. I may actually go look them up right now. The Amalius Maestronum is indeed awesome. And you guys want to know something funny about that one? That one is from you can probably find references to those, or if you have an old one laying around of the Malleus Monstrum, if you can get a copy of the 6th edition for like maybe $10, you can actually use the Keeper's Guide, the Keeper's rulebook of the 7th edition to convert the 6th edition, 5th or 6th edition versions to 7th edition. There is a conversion for it because I can tell you for a fact the monster manuals for the 7th edition just came out, actually not even 2 years ago, for 7th edition Call of Cthulhu. So, it's for, the Malleus Monstrum is for the 7th. Okay, I did not know that. I thought they had their own things for that. You know, I'm going to look that up real quick since we're on the subject. Oh, and you guys can get a slipcase set from Chaosium Games. I'm gonna post the link here because it looks like you got a slipcase set for $129.99. I do have the Call of Cthulhu starter set already. Boy, lots of good stuff here. I gotta get back on Chaosium and check out. RuneQuest is also from them, so yeah. I gotta try more stuff out. It's time for me to get out there more. Yeah, I'm gonna put the gaming site right in my description. The Hammer of Monsters sounds like a 40k Inquisition weapons. Yes, it is. So, but yeah, it's very easy to just find an old monster, even if you can't get your hands on the new stuff. Find an old version of it, and it'll teach you how to convert it. So, yeah. All right. Well, you know what? And honestly, that is one reason I would always recommend both books, because you definitely get all the information you need between both books, whether you're a keeper or a player. So, all right. Well, that's everything that I have for today. I'd like to thank Jason Fox for joining in, as well as Troublemaker, Colin, and the Witch King. It's always a pleasure having all you guys in my audience every morning, so I do appreciate that. We are getting ready for more games later on, so yeah. All right, well, I do got more stuff coming up. Please keep a watch on my Twitter page. See what's coming up next for Tabletop Junkie and my channel, and we will keep moving on. And we'll keep moving on and moving on. This is going to be a fun-filled year of reviews and gaming, everybody, and I plan on making it that. So, want to tell everybody to work hard, play hard, game hard as always. Game on, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Have a great and wonderful day.